Good morning. By the way, I have one wish for all of you. Please keep showing up with your cameras on. It's nice to see people. I always remind people I sit in this whole big like 5,000 square foot office by myself every day. So the most interactions I generally get, unless there are always people coming in and out of here, is with all of you. And so welcome to our onboarding session. So I see some new faces, I see some old faces, I see some faces I got to see yesterday. So welcome. So the goal of today is to introduce you to some of the people you get to work with throughout the year. And, I find very often you join a coaching program, but no one actually tells you like how to get the most out of the coaching program. And as all the years have gone by that I've done these sessions, I find this to be an absolute shocker, right? Because if we built the program, obviously we built it with our community and our clients in mind. So why wouldn't we sit here and actually explain to you how you can get the most out of it, right? So let me share my screen and we'll get started. So as you can see, there are lots of happy people, and that's, I would say, very representative of all of us, right? So the goal is really about maximizing your coaching experience, and we're going to get into details of it. But there's one thing that I'm really excited about, and that is Susan. So let me find Susan, and I'll tell you a little bit about her. I'll let you guys read the stuff on the screen quickly. Susan, unmute yourself. Where is Susan?
Hey, everybody.
Hello. Let me pin you. Wait, I have to find you now. Wait a second. Dude. Oops, it's not it. So I'll tell you my experience with Susan. And so Susan and Laura, who many of you have both interacted with, actually are very close friends. Their kids are friends, and they actually live 2 doors down from each other. So it's really nice in a very remote world where 2 of our core team members live next to each other. But, people can say that I have the gift of speaking with people, and I have never met anyone in my life, and this is the first, and I don't know when the next time will be, where I've met somebody that has like I do, I would say. I remember sharing this role with her and her saying to me, she goes, I got it. It's like, I remember taking an online course and the professor would call me and ask me how I was doing, where I needed help. And, on an online course throughout the course of a year, you can get, I'm like, you got it. Right. So, we know that client experience is everything. Right. And I was talking to someone yesterday, and we came up with this theme, and I really want to kind of make this a theme of our service and support for the year. And it says the new luxury is feeling, right? Like, just think about that for a second. Like when you feel connected to, heard, listened to, engaged, met at where you are, and there's an actual human being that you'll get to meet at our events and everything else that does that, it creates a different experience for everyone. So, I'll let Susan introduce herself to a little bit about her background and kind of how she's going to support you. But from a high level, when I envisioned this role, it was a way to help you keep the promises you made to yourself, right? So what does that mean in like simple terms? Because it sounds really cool, right? But what it means in practicality is all of you made a promise to yourself when you decided to make the investment of your resources and the investment of your time throughout the course of the year. And we know, because I was a real estate agent too for 14 years. So I have like agent brain, as my team members say. Your phone rings, you get text messages, things get busy, you sell out your personal development time. Then your brain starts telling you stories, right? Like, I missed a week. What are my peers going to think? The second week goes by, the third week, and all of a sudden people just disappear for the whole year, right? Because they have this story in their head. And we want to make sure that at worst case scenario, because it's part of why I don't get into this with the tracks, why they repeat, is you could miss a quarter, but you could never miss a year. You can miss a week, 2 weeks, and by 3 weeks, you're on our search and rescue list. So as I said yesterday, unless you tell Susan and myself, like, I'm an adult, leave me alone, which I don't think anyone really will do, we want to get you back in. right? Because we know that people that do the work and are surrounded by a great community and keep the promises they make to themselves, that's where all the magic happens. So Susan, the floor is yours.
Hey, everybody. It's really nice to see a lot of familiar names up there and to put faces with those names. Awesome introduction, Shirag. I appreciate that. My background is not in real estate, so this has been a super awesome learning experience for me. But my business is people, and that's exactly the role that Shirag has made for me here. So I'm super excited about joining this team. I am by trade a nurse for the last 13 years and a mom of 3 boys, with a focus on hospice specifically. So I manage people, I manage emotions, I manage expectations on a daily basis. My job with Shirag is to passionately pursue each and every one of you and hold you accountable to the goals that you set for yourself, the commitment that you made for yourself joining this team. Your success is my success. So we're going to do this together and just have the best 2025 that we can. You can expect me to reach out here shortly in the next couple of weeks for an initial phone call where we will set some objectives, get some information, and just kind of build what that support system is going to look like for you going forward. So you've got my name, you've got my face now, you've got my contact information. I am here to really serve you and help you reach those goals.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
so, as this year kind of kicks off, right? Susan's going to call you and she's going to ask you a lot of questions. Who are you? Where, how long you've been in the business? How long you've been in CSC? The more you share with us, the more we know about you, the more we can connect you to the things that will make impact on you, right? I know that I like to live in the future, right? I know when we started this business, a lot of the things we've done, no one has ever done before. When we built this office space in 2022 that I'm excited to host you all at, everyone told me it was the worst idea in the world. I remember Rory Gallad telling me when the economy turned, how much money have you spent there so much, Rog? I said, I don't know, about $80,000, $90,000. He goes, great. It'll be the best investment of walking away in your entire life. That was the only thing this man has ever told me in my entire life I didn't do. And fast forward, we spent an insane amount of money here, but it's become a hub for all of us, right? And so building out this head of happiness role was actually inspired by one of our clients, Lisa Munoz, who has one of these in her business, right? So we had all these different ideas of how we're going to do this, but I always say that true success in coaching is measured by happiness, because when your business, your life, and your bank account all in alignment with how you envisioned it for yourself, and everyone has success on their terms, right? We're all individual. There's some people that might just want to do the same amount of business and work less, right? There's some people that just want to learn the business, some people that want to exit the business, some people that want to grow, some people that want to scale. Well, I'm going to get rid of growth. Some people that want to scale, right? Some people that just want to get more confident. There are other people who just want to build a referral network or not be so lonely in groups. There are so many different things because everyone's unique. My dad has, people think that I have all these genius ideas and I'm some visionary and innovator. But in reality, my business is all the values that my two immigrant parents taught me growing up. They owned a stationery store in a suburb outside of New York City, Larchmont, New York. And we sold pens, pencils, notebooks, and all the nice Crane stationery and everything. And, coming from immigrant parents, from the time I was like this big, I would go there and work. So, I would commonly see my parents know their customers so well, know their families. And I remember when they retired, there was a lady in a supermarket when my mom and I were at Stop and Shop, running at her with tears. I did not know what to do because now, there's a woman running at my mom looking like a crazy person. She gives my mom a huge hug and she looks at me, she goes, "You probably think I'm crazy." And I'm like, "Yep, 100%. And she goes, "Look, for the last 30 years, every morning, 6 days a week, I started with your mom. Your mom knows more about me, my kids, their kids, and my family than any person I've ever met in my life." And like that, I learned the power of connection. I can tell you the first time somebody brought like a $300 Mont Blanc pen, and my dad started asking this woman all of these questions and then sold her a $12 pen. I'm like, "Why would you do that?" And he's like, "You only give people what they need. We don't need to take people's money when we don't need it." It's like many of you I talk to, "I need one-on-one coaching." I'm like, "No, you don't." Right? So a lot of these values that we impart on you are things that have been instilled in me my entire life. And, my dad, "You see this hand? You see this hand?" No two hands are the same, meaning all people are different. And we need to respect and understand, even with hundreds of people, everyone's individuality. Does that make sense to all of you? Right? All right, let's keep going. because I know people are going to have questions today. All right, getting the most out of coaching. Let's like get into this, right? You need to have a clear goal, right? And everything and all of it, and I'm gonna master 15 different, it's not clear, right? People have SMART goals. I have CCQ goals. Is your goal clear, like what you want to achieve? Is it concise and specific? And is it quantifiable, right? If I said for the first quarter, I really want to work on my buyer business. That is a clear goal, concise. Well, I just want to go through the 12 sessions so I know what I know and I don't know what I don't know. And I kind of get to the place of, okay, now I know what I don't know going into the next quarter, right? And is it quantifiable? Absolutely, right? Because if you're putting the time in, what you get out of it's quantified. Now you have to commit to the process, right? You have to block time on your calendar, and for the love of myself, my children, my family, and God, do not sell out your coaching slots when somebody wants to do a showing. Because just remember, if you had another appointment and you're bringing me out to go look at investment properties, you could not do anything else. It is the number one thing that will inhibit your growth, because consistency creates confidence. So if every time someone wants to show an appointment, like, I'm going to go back and watch a recording, the amount of people that do that are like this, right? It doesn't really work. So that is a non-negotiable time, because that's committing to yourself. And remember, your personal development in this infinite game of this business is far more valuable than any transactional client. Offer different times, and always remember my voice in the back of your head. Well, if you're on an appointment, you're going to cancel with one buyer to bring out another. Like, obviously there's an exception to every rule, but just as we talked about yesterday, if everything is urgent and it's important, it's called an emergency, and you can't operate your life on an emergency. It is not a great idea. The third one is focus on going deep. We need to achieve mastery in all that we do, right? So you think of Michael Phelps, Michael Jordan, any of the great athletes in the world. I'm sorry, I'm not great with women's sports. So I'm trying to think of Anna Kournikova, a tennis player, right? So these are people that practice the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Steph Curry makes 92 to 93% of his free throws. You think he stopped playing free throws? No. If you were winning 90% of your pitches, does that mean you should stop learning, practicing, and doing the same things over and over again? Absolutely not. So focus on going deep. And then apply learnings consistently. Going to coaching sessions and listening to a whole bunch of stuff will never make you more money. You make money by doing, right? Not listening is the first part. Simone Biles. Okay, there's another athlete. I feel better now. So if you think about this, do not go to any other coaching sessions. Like, just stop. Whatever you want to learn that's related to Compass, their dashboard, reverse prospecting, three-phase marketing. I've been making national training for Compass for almost 6+ years. Well, 6+ years at this point. There's nothing that they're going to come out with that I'm not going to get in advance and that I'm not going to make for you, right? You'll also see there's a huge amount of Compass staff that's enrolled in this program. And the really cool thing is like yesterday, when you have questions about the Compass tech tools, there'll be people that work at Compass also here that says, hey, go to this team member. Hey, if you're in our region. So we've built a really robust experience for you. So how do I simplify all of this? Simple. Have a clear goal. Where do I want to focus on my business? Number two, don't sell yourself out. Remember that future self 3 to 4 months away saying, hey, Shirag, remember me? Like, don't give up on me today, because I'm going to need you to be better in the future. Number three, go deep. Go to mastery. If you spent an entire year going through just a seller track over and over and over and practice it every day, it will quantifiably make you $1 million+ in your career. Why can I say that? Because real estate's a multi-decade long career. And no one practices anything. No one hears anything. People are really confused. Well, I've heard this 3 times, so I don't need to hear it anymore. But you don't know how to do it. You're not getting it 90%. And even if you are, you're not getting any better, because it's those little tweaks. 20,000 here, 10,000 there, 40,000 there. You don't know what little differences one thing could make in a big impact. Does that make sense? Like having a communication plan one day could get you a $5 million listing. Do you know how many of our clients over the course of the years have won listings over multiple agents in a $10+ million price point just because they had our written communication plan? The thing that I want you all to really realize, sorry, sick kids, I'm a little sick too, is that just because something's simple does not mean it doesn't work, right? If you go to Great Hospitality, they do a lot of simple things really well that are really thoughtful. So this is how you get the most out of coaching. Learning tracks. There are 4 learning tracks. So this is where the bulk of the questions come, and we'll have plenty of time for Q&A. Sellers, Mondays. I want to go deep on my seller business. From the initial conversation to the closing and beyond and everything in between, that is what we focus on. Buyers, from the initial conversation to closing and beyond and everything in between, even how you extend your relationship so people keep sending you business. And they're expecting your call and emails and text messages once a month. Prospecting, which I think many of us need to do, right? Like I want to build and implement a prospecting system, which many of us don't have. And then team leaders, right? Most people that started a team, it happened haphazardly and it just kept growing. Leadership is a learned skill. So in this track, it's only for team leaders. And we'll teach you how to clearly define, like, what is your value proposition as a team? So you find people that actually come there, right? So if you offer coaching and mentoring and somebody wants leads and you're not clear on that, it's a bad experience for you. It's a bad experience for your team member. Talk about building culture. We talk about recruiting. So all those core elements that no one really talks about as a team and the leadership aspect of leading people, that's what we go through in that track. Now, what am I telling you to do in pick tracks? Major and minors, right? You can pick one, at most 2. Do not go to sellers and buyers and product. Like if you go to everything, you're going to do nothing. Because here's the challenge that we have. Our information and our coaching is actually really good, according to all of you. So you get really excited. You have all these different things to implement. And then all of a sudden you have 3 different things to do. And there's work that you should be doing all throughout the week after each session. And all of a sudden you're overwhelmed and we get all these emails. I love all this stuff. I don't know where to start. I feel like I'm drinking out of a fire hose. And anyone that's been here many years will tell you that. Shrag, there's so much good stuff. We don't know where to get started. We don't know what to prioritize. We've tried coaching dashboards, implementation trackers. Like we have tried many different things and we figured that this is the best way to do it. Now, why do the tracks repeat 12 weeks? Because that if someone thinks they're going to master an entire transaction, which took us as a team 6+ hours and multiple people just to build the checklist, you're going to learn in 6 hours, not realistic. If you break down those skill building roadmaps where it's 1 skill a week for 6 months, it's still going to take more than 6 months. And you need to learn to be okay with that, right? Because we all go for these home runs and the scoreboard says 0. And the score in this represents change, growth, and things that are sustainable and implementable in your business. You can go through this for years, and that's okay. Because every year you're going to get better and better. This could be the year of the seller. This could be the year of the buyer. This could be the year of relentless prospecting. This could be the year that you're obsessed with community while you do this and find a whole group of people to go through this with. So everyone write down your track questions. I'll have plenty of time to go through them in the end. Adding the calendar. We're going to get back to this one. Actually, hold on. Martha, where are you? Martha?
I'm right here.
All right, hold on. Let me pin you.
I'm waving.
Okay, there you go. All right, so Martha is one of our great accountability leaders. Martha, how long have you been here?
This will be my 4th year.
4th year, right? So Martha is one of these people that's just salt on the earth, right? As kind as she can be. Some of her groups have had over 100 people. She does have a background in education with real estate agents, but she's someone that just really wants to make a difference and cares about people. So she didn't have a chance to join us yesterday, so she has an appointment. So I wanted to just give her a chance. Guys, see the clock is getting to 12 and like Cinderella at 12 p.m. you need to drop off. So Martha, introduce yourself. Tell them a little bit about your group.
Sure. Good morning. Thanks, Sharad. Good morning, everybody. I see some familiar faces. Nice to see you. And for those who are new to Sharad, welcome. And it's going to be an exciting year. This is my 4th year, and even just sitting on today, I feel like I'm all excited for a whole nother year. You'll learn new things, and don't expect to implement everything. You're not going to implement everything. You're going to pick the things that matter the most to you and that you want to implement into your business. My accountability group is on Fridays at 11:30 Eastern time. And I know there's some of you on this call that were in it last year. I hope that you'll join me again this year. But I look at the accountability groups as a small community to try and implement the things that Chirag teaches us in a very supportive atmosphere. So we share, sometimes we do role play, sometimes we share specific scenarios that we have in our individual businesses and provide feedback on different suggestions we'd have on how we would work with it. But it's very supportive, and it's, I think, very integral in Chirag's teaching. So I think if you take his sessions and then you follow up with an accountability group, you're going to get the best that you possibly can out of it.
You know, what I find is, and this is a quote from Robin Barone. She's one of my friends and a sales manager in New Jersey. She says, education without implementation is entertainment. Like, I can make you smile, I can make you laugh, I can kind of hypnotize you through visualization, right? But the goal is, I'm not just here to entertain you. And it's that you're able to use the things that you learn. That is what I care about. That's what our team cares about. That's what all the accountability leaders. I hope you can really see and hit yes if you realize this over today and both days, that what we care about is implementation. Are you getting that feeling? And if you're not, we've done something wrong, candidly. Right? Because I can't tell you, and Martha, how many people have you met that have used even like the most simple things here and it's turned into a huge impact in their business, their life, and their bank account?
Oh, almost everybody, and I will say too, and I mean this in a very positive way, that almost everybody goes through feeling like they're learning so much they don't know what to do with it. And that's okay, because you're not expected to learn everything and implement it into your business right away. And certain things are going to appeal to you in your market and others aren't. But the most important thing, I think, not to give away one of your secrets, Chirag, but I think the Med C, when Chirag starts to teach you on the Med C, that's something that's going to be like an aha moment for you. That's going to help not only with your business but in life in general. And you're going to use that every day in every way with practically everybody you meet.
So, by the way, I don't. This wasn't planned, but that's like a good preview to our first session, the Med C. Right. So thank you, Martha. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
the time, and we will send everyone these calendars. We'll put them in the chat so today that people can click. So let's get to the calendar portion. Thank you, Martha. All right. So as I told you, we have like a very elaborate tracking system. So when people subscribe to a calendar, we know. So one of the things that Susan will be doing, if you have not subscribed to a calendar, by the end of next week, we will be tracking you down. If you don't have the sessions on your calendar, I already know how this story goes, right? And one of my favorite quotes and philosophies to live by in life is how it starts is how it goes, right? It's the beginning of the year. This is generally about as hopeful as people are. If I'm going to do all the new things, great. So now let me get into your calendar and let me show me that you're serious, right? If your calendar does not reflect your goals, you're never going to reach your goals. And at the end of the year, you're like, well, what happened? You happened. Like anyone I talk to, coaching and success have 3 principles. Do you know what it is? Can you listen, follow directions, and implement the things that you learn? That's it. If you can do those 3 simple things, which really aren't that simple, that's what happens, right? So, all right, let me get into the calendar and we'll walk you through all of this and I'll show you what to do. So add the calendar, right? So we'll go through, this is like This is what I used to do with Compass, like technology usage. We'll add the calendar. We'll walk you through the links. I'll share my screen so you guys can all follow along. Prioritize the sessions. You do realize you can add the whole calendar and you can delete the sessions that you don't want to go to, right? So like if you're only doing buyers, yes, you can go ahead and delete the other sessions. We're going to update over the course of probably like the next 2 weeks, the platform where you can just subscribe to individual tracks. The accountability sessions, you subscribe to one, and we'll show you how to do that as well today in our platform overview. Do not go to 3 different accountability groups for the love of God, please. Pick one group of lovely humans and follow them for 12 weeks. If the style doesn't jive with you and you don't like the group settings, then reach out to us, give us some feedback, and we'll get you in the right group. Make sense? Is any of this complicated for anybody? We've spent a lot of time trying to really simplify this, right? So don't worry about all the tech stuff and everything else. We'll get to that, right? So I see there are people that need help. I see people trying to help them. So don't worry, we got you covered. So here are the accountability groups, right? Brad's is on Mondays at 12, right after the session. Cherish's is 12 after the session. I will be the guest host for her session the first week. So when you leave our sessions, because we track to see what you're doing, right? Like if we know you're not in an accountability group, you've never signed in a session in the first several weeks, we're going to reach out to you and try to get you into a group, right? So you'll leave my session, or I'll put the links in there and you'll go to the other session in your calendar. It should not be rocket science for anybody. Prospecting, Mike, who many of you have known and met through the webinars, he'll start for the first month. And then we have a special surprise and delight coming for you month 2 and 3. His accountability session will follow the main session as well. Jody's session is on Thursdays at 12:30 p.m. These are all Eastern times, and Martha will be 11:30. So the first 3 sessions are 30 minutes. The last 2 sessions are 60 minutes, right? So some people might want something that's shorter, but many of these times the group conversations and the camaraderie and the community building and the relationship building, they extend far beyond whatever the time is. Now, here is my prescriptive advice to you is, how am I going to simplify this? All of these groups will have rosters, right? Find accountability partners and role play partners, right? If you have a hard time prospecting, find somebody that's in the prospecting accountability group and literally go on Zoom just like this, where you can see each other and make your calls together. Simple as that. Role play partners. You should have 3 to 5 role play partners a week. You'll never be good at anything you don't practice, right? Let me answer that question for you about the accountability groups. Give me 1 second. So what we have here is Jody and Brad are doing sellers. Martha and Cherish are doing buyers. Let's keep going, and then we'll add all of our calendars in the end. This is what we're really excited about, our live events. So March 20th, over the next week, we can hold 70 people here for an education event. So it'll be a day of guest speakers, just different stuff than you'd normally hear here. It's a fun experience. So we will open it up first to the people that signed up and made the investment in the program after 2 weeks. If not, then we'll open up to everyone, including people's team members, right? So that event will be really interesting because it will be 70 people. And for everyone that's not here, we'll stream the event on YouTube. So you can all still be part of the event, the sessions and everything else. You know, I would suggest people might do watch parties if they're in the same office. Sometimes people travel and hang out together and like they make their own little group of people, right? So at the end of that, even if you physically can't be here, or if you're close enough, that evening, we're going to have our 5-year anniversary party. So we are going to have a party. Like there'll be 100+ people here. There'll be food, there'll be drinks, there'll be music. Sometimes I like to throw karaoke in randomly at the end of the night, which is always fun too. June 26th, For the people that did not have an attend, that were not able to attend the first one, and for the, again, the clients that signed up at first 2 weeks, we open up the date to everybody. And then same thing, we open up to everyone. September, and we don't know if we're doing it at the end of September. I'm aligning my dates with the Compass calendar and any of their events, Women of Compass, luxury retreats. I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff. So we don't want to cause a conflict for anybody. But this is what I'm personally most excited of. I live off the energy of a lot of people in the room. Like, I love it. Not so much like the social 100+ people in a room. I'm kind of introverted, honestly, in that setting, but like a stage where we can like teach and do things. It will be the first ever client event that we ever had for everybody. So all of these people that you're meeting on Zoom and accountability groups, it's like Toy Story, right? It's like when your Zoom friends come to life. So September, October, we need to nail down a location. We're looking at Raleigh as our #1 pick right now, but we need to find a venue that can hold 500 people, right? Because there'll probably be that many people there. And it'll be a fun day. We always do one full day of an event, a party in the evening. And then the second day, we partner with the local real estate offices for broker tours, events. It's very much like a Compass retreat, but I swear our education is amazing. And I'll be bringing in some really interesting guest speakers for that one. And then December 4th, we have our holiday party, right? So that one, everyone's invited to. It's an evening party, and we'll figure out something fun for people that are traveling, right? Like you can come here and everyone can just kind of hang out here during the day. It'll be a good time and something very much more informal. And then a lot of people, New York City is absolutely beautiful during Christmas time. So we will partner with HQ. If a lot of you are coming, we'll set something up with Compass Corporate, because many of you, I know, depending on where you're in the country, have never been to the Compass headquarters. So that is our event schedule. All right, now let me get to like my tech demo skills. Hold on. Are we all still feeling good? This is not overwhelming for anybody, I hope. All right, cool. If it's overwhelming, you can tell me. It's okay. All right. Welcome to our platform, right? So as we go through this, I'm going to walk you through some really basic things, right? We'll go with the first button, session and events. Now, here, you can join upcoming sessions. You can add the calendar, which will add them all onto your sessions. Now, if I wanted to add Brad's calendar, I can hit add calendar. I can pick my calendar and I could add it. But for the accountability groups, it will just add that one track onto your calendar, right? That's it. Now, if you know anything about calendar blocking, people have multiple blocks on their calendar, right? So if you subscribe to our whole calendar, you might not be in working on sellers, but when I do the listing presentation courses, you might want to just sit and listen, right? So keep them on your calendar. Just don't overcomplicate this. Learning how to use your calendar is a really big thing. And if enough people want me to do it here, meaning there's 100+ of you that will actually show up, I'll do a separate bonus session on just really building a calendar, time management, the Pomodoro method. So, you know, these are the kinds of things that we'll be asking people in surveys, right? If you respond to the surveys, we can listen to you and give you what you need. Our emails going forward in this course are very important. They will all have important information. We are never sending a fluff email ever again. And if somebody does, they're in big trouble here of like, hey, here are the sessions next week. Great. You have a calendar. You should already be there, right? So the end of the week, there'll be recap emails that talk about takeaways from coaching, what you can implement. And also, who here wants us to expose them? Hit yes in the chat to our network, our 10,000+ social network, and our 16,000 person Compass email list. Who wants brand and national exposure? Hit yes. So almost half of the agents at Compass are on our email list. Pretty crazy, right? So the reason I share that with you is we have an obsession in sharing your story with everybody else. So there'll be forms in your accountability group. Susan will be reaching out. We'll be sending surveys. So the form pretty much is asks your name, your market. We want you to upload your headshot so we can put your picture. So it doesn't just say like Shrug Shaw, Westport, Connecticut, blah, 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 blah. No one knows what I look like. Like it's taking away from the brand, right? So we'll every week in our sessions, in the accountability groups, in recap emails, we'll be asking you to share your wins. Now, these wins will end up in our weekly newsletters. I'll be surprising and delighting and sharing your wins on the coaching calls. They'll end up on our social media, and they'll be put into our email newsletters throughout the months, throughout the entire year. So think about it. Like, what would you have to do for 16,000 plus people to know that you did a great job as an agent and you're doing something at a higher level? So these are some of the things that we've built in of like, how can we get you more exposure? How can we build your brand? How can we build your referral network, right? And can I tell you what my favorite part about testimonials is? Not to like take a little detour, which I just did, is I love seeing what other people are doing, because once I see somebody else do it, as long as it's not like professional athletics, I can do it too, right? I remember the first time I saw somebody go, how many pull-ups you just do? 100. I'm like, I could do that. And I did, right? Remember the first time, like, you ran a half marathon? I can run a half marathon. I could do that, right? See somebody grow and scale a business? Well, why not me, right? And I think that's the mindset that we need to think about. And if you want to help everyone, like rising tide raises all ships, keep sharing your wins, because it's literally what somebody needs to hear. Like, oh yeah, I can use this, right? Because in our mind, it's like, this is not me. This is not going to work. My clients are different. It's not this work in my market, all those things. This is not the way I've done business. This is not the way that it is. All the things that our brain does to sabotage us, right? So back to our regularly scheduled program. Events. You can join an event from here, right? You can always just log into the platform, just your username and password. And if you have any questions about logging in, just email our team and they'll help you. Join, add to calendar. Pretty simple, right? You can look at past events this way too, right? Like, you can just go here and look at what's here in the past. It is really, really simple. Everything we do is recorded. Now, I don't know if you checked it out from last night, but we made an epic business planning summary and another document you can print out, right? And when you look at the summary, it has like a table of contents. It's really elaborate, right? So when you want a business plan, don't sit there and think you're going to build a 6-7 figure plan in an hour or two. Like, really take the time and put a lot of thought into it. Now, this is where everything lives. Now, this is something new that we've added onto here, guided courses, right? So if you look at all these different areas of what to do in coaching, we broke it down, right? So if you go pre-qualifying a potential seller, it's talking about skill level, categories. You can view the module, you can add it to favorites, you can mark it as complete. So this way, when you're going through and doing things on your own, you can actually keep track of all of this stuff, right? Like, even in our product roadmap, some of the things, it's like, we're going to add a button that says favorite section. Sound good? Now, this is the preview of our AI search. So we call this the A to Z content, right? Right now, you have to just actually hit the sort button. There's still tech glitches, but there's over 300 pieces of content that you can use here. Email templates, business ops, there's scripts, digital checklists. So it's pretty amazing. Look at this. There's 117 scripts in here. There is not anything on earth I don't think I've made content for. And if I have not, when it comes to the buying and selling side, I will make it, right? So what will happen is this will be here, but this will turn into AI search. So it's beta. It's going to have glitches. We're going to want your feedback. And when you give us feedback, we're going to implement the feedback. Part of this content library and the vision for CSC is real-time training. If all of a sudden we get into a no inventory market or a multiple offer market, or like, how do I convince my buyer to buy if interest rates go up to 10%? I'm just making this up so nobody get freaked out. I can change all of our training like this in literally in one day. Everything that we have here, the whole context will change. And in the AI, there will be a submit a situation button that will show you. Now, what is submit a situation? Look, you all have stuff happening every single day in real time. That is the best intel and data a group this size can have. Now, here's how it works. You'll submit your scenarios. Every other week, I have time in my calendar to prioritize the most relevant scenarios for everybody. And we're going to make new training videos in our studio, and you're going to get in part of your updates, what's new in Shrug AI, because that's what we're calling this little thing. So I will upload all new training, and every 2 weeks, there'll be new things added in there. So all of a sudden, if we realize, like, wait a second, like this is a weird trend going around the country, what do we do? You'll never be more than 2 weeks behind. Anything major milestone client dashboard gets rolled out or whatever they Compass concocts this year, we'll have bonus trainings. Big shift in the market, big shift in interest rates, big shift in real estate. I don't know, some other weird lawsuit. We'll have a bonus training and we have you covered. Like the goal is for you not to worry about anything besides the 60 to 90 minutes we want you in coaching every week, whether it's a main session and a 30, 60-minute accountability group, and then relentlessly doing the work. So if you spend 30 minutes practicing, role playing, connecting with people, actually doing stuff from the sessions, and say you spent an hour and a half a week, that's 4 hours a week. Most people spend 4 hours on their day scrolling a social media platform, 4 hours a week. So literally my promise to you is if you spend 4 hours a week on your business, I guarantee you that it grows. It's impossible for it not to. And why is it impossible? Because thousands and thousands of people over the last 6 years have used this same stuff and it works everywhere. Make sense? All right, cool. Let me get back here. All right, product roadmap, marketing center integration. So I can, if you want, I can open up my marketing center if that'll make you all feel better to show you some of the things that we're working on, which I think I'm going to do. That'll be done by the end of the month. So we're going to take our entire roster of the hundreds of you in this program and take our customized buyer presentations, marketing calendars, and all the things that we know that you all love, and we're going to publish it to your marketing center accounts. No, it's not going to be available for everybody. No one else can find it. So like our 3-phase marketing, I have my own stuff that's completely different than Compass's. I have my own playbook. I have our own scripts. I have our own things that go into the presentation, down to the way you slide it over to a client, what they're reading, what they're looking at, what you say. So all of these things will be in Marketing Center. AI search, by the end of the month, we'll have an AI search at whatever you're looking for, whether it's a video, a script, a template, an email template. You'll have an AI feature that will sift through everything and find you exactly what you need. Just remember, it's in beta. So like with all tech, the first time it comes out, there is going to be things wrong. I'm not going to lie. It's never perfect, but we'll work with your feedback on an ongoing basis, week over week, to make the changes. Then the skill building tracker by the end of Q1. Actually, no, I'll go to skill building tracker. So remember that 6 months of the seller list that I gave you? We're going to find a way to gamify it into our platform by the end of Q1, where people that have gone through and done the entire training, you'll be able to find master listing agents that have mastered all 6 months of this stuff. So it's a good way when you're looking for referrals. It's a fun way to get points and stuff like that. So we're going to gamify that for you. And the AI coach. I don't know if there's anything in my life right now that I think is more interesting, like besides my family and my kids, than AI and all of you, right? Like my obsession is like, how can I get all of you to use all this stuff? But Chris Smith, who many of you probably know, and some of you might not know, Chris Smith is a 2 times best-selling author. He's been featured in Forbes and all kinds of those publications. He was the co-founder of Curator, which he recently sold. And him and I partnered together because what we realized is all of his content is around marketing and social and all of that stuff. And my content is the other half of that. The buyer, the sellers, the presentations, the conversations, the systems, the processes, scaling. You put it together, it's like a superhuman. So we had partnered with a third guy who has like an amazing platform that's already built. And literally when I was on our roadmap call for the product yesterday, I could not believe the features that it had, right? Like this, when him and I started this like 3 or 4 months ago, we were hoping to have all these features maybe in a year. Like things that we're going to have in here. How do I add a contact to my CRM? Boom. Now, what we're working on, which they told me it's possible, I'll believe it when I see it. Could you imagine a world where you put the property link of your listing on compass.coms and it writes your just listed emails, your open house emails, your Instagram posts, everything in a storytelling format like it's an Apple product, as if I did it for you. That's what we're working towards, right? it's like a coach where you'll be able to interact with it and ask it questions and like build in voice features over time where you can role play and it'll know our scripts. Like, oh, you want to practice a Med C? Great. Like what type of scenario? It has all different avatars and stuff in there of different types of people. And we'll be doing focus groups with all of you to understand based on the different markets and price points, what type of avatars we need, and we'll build it to what everyone thinks is best. So that's kind of a rundown of onboarding and where we are and how to get started. All right, so let's get into some like tech stuff. Hit yes if you don't have a calendar added already. I know not everybody's going to tell the truth, unfortunately. All right, cool. Let's just go through the calendars. Laura, can you drop the link in the chat, please? So I could walk people through this. Laura? There we go. Laura, where? Laura, can you mute yourself?
Hey, Shirag, can you hear
You
me?
don't have, yes, you don't have to go on camera. Laura's an introvert, she's an extrovert. So the two of them together. If I told her to go on Zoom right now, she would be like, I'm gonna kill you. Not part of our agreement.
I just dropped the link in there.
All right, so when they're at this page, walk them through exactly what to do. So everyone that did not sign up for a calendar, click the link in the chat now. I'm gonna put the link here. No one else write anything else. And please, when you look at the team leader sessions, if you're not a team leader, don't show up, right? If you're on somebody's team, it's not for you. And if you're an agent thinking of starting a team, it is for you, right? We want people to build good foundations. So is everyone, now you guys can hit the button. For those of you who are not on your calendar, hit yes if you're now on this page. So when we do tech adoption, this is how we do it. All right, guys, we're all here. And let's now click this button. People are like, how do you get all these people to use technology? It's simple. You have to make it simple, right? Just to tell people what to do and how to do it. All right, Laura. So what is my next step if I'm on this call?
Hit the follow calendar button.
All right, I'm going to put an email in here. Let's just say virtual assistant. I can't spell va@coaching.com. Hit continue. Now, what button do I hit? There's only one button to hit. Add calendar. And now you can pick which calendar you have. Someone has an Outlook calendar. I don't know why people still look Outlook, but you know what? Different folks, different strokes. I would click Google. And now it's going to go into Google, right? And I would just hit add. That's all I have to do. I'm not adding this to my calendar, but all I have to do is hit add. And we're done. That's it. Ta-da!
Is this time?
Yes, it's like we're in the Matrix. All right, cool. So now we have another 10. I'll stay on longer if we have to. It's fine. Yes, Jennifer Judge, if you did this last year, just click the thing again.
Sure.
All right, now who has questions? Leslie, you have questions? I think you're muted.
I don't have a question. I'm new to the group, but I did sign up for the calendars, and what I figured out yesterday was the calendar that you subscribe to, all of those sessions go on your calendar. If you go within the dashboard, it puts it on one at a time. So sometimes you might have two, like it might be double. So you just click off the subscribed calendar, and then it only shows what you are selecting. So if you're just doing the buyer's track, click off the subscribe calendar, and then only the buyer track will show up individually as you go along, just in case that confuses anybody. Took me a minute, but I figured it out.
And this is the support of people. Andrea,
Good morning.
good
Two
morning.
questions, please. When you were going through the dashboard, where's the written business plan?
The dashboard. Laura, where'd you uploaded it?
Yeah, if you go to past events for the session yesterday, it will be linked as a resource underneath the video. There's going
Here,
to be
hold
two
on.
different resources linked there.
Let me
Okay.
show everybody this. So you go to past events, right?
Right.
Resources.
Ding
Now,
ding.
let me show you all this because I think it's really cool. I'm very proud of our team's work here. Laura, just double check that this is a make copy. I know this is my own thing and I'm logged in, but we want to just make sure. So if you look at this, this is an entire summary to business plan, right?
Is there like a fillable tab somewhere or something on the other one?
No, this is a summary. I want you to print these forms. Why do I want you to print them? Because I want you to be able to write in them and leave them on your desk. Everyone that fills their thing out on a PDF, saved it in their computer. I talked to more than 100 people last year that did this. What'd you do your business plan? Oh, I filled in your PDF. Where is it? It's on my computer. You're never opening it again. Right? So we want you to print them.
Okay.
So you're welcome. So at the bottom of every session, this is where the related resources are.
Okay, so the business plan is where it says business plan. All right, second question is, what did you say about Wednesday and the prospecting tract and Mike and his accountability call, please?
So his is right after the session.
Okay,
The Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday sessions, the accountability calls right after. You'll need to use a separate link so we can know which sessions and who's going to what.
okay,
And the Thursday and Friday ones are at different times.
okay. And lastly, you said that Mike's only doing it the first month and then
First
it's
month. Yep.
switcheroo. Okay,
I can't give you a surprise, but you're gonna be really excited about it. The
Okay.
only clue I'll give you, it's a way for you guys to get free leads.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
I'm not able to access the business planning resource. It says I have to request access.
So email info at shrugshopcoaching.com and someone on the team will help you.
Thanks. And one last question. I tried to add, I seem to only have the accountability groups for the first week. How do I add them onto the calendar for the entirety of the track?
So they will put that all in one email and they'll reply to you with all the steps. Yep. And so there's no email. This is not like a webinar where we send you an email in the end, right? And so all of the platforms, Allison, they're all the platforms, all the recordings and everything are on our platform. So if you have not logged on or you're not on the platform, email our team today and they'll make sure that you're on there. Now, mind you, there may be a lot of you, so they're going to do their best to get through these between today and ideally before the session on Monday. So I will say give the two of them some patience as they sort through this.
I have a question. I have multiple calendars, you know, personal and office and your calendar. And the issue I'm having is like I can see them all at the same time. So I need to sync them so that I don't.
Are you a Google user, please? Tell me yes.
Mhm. I have an Apple devices. So, you know, I think that might be the issue. I might have both.
I'd suggest people use Google because your Compass email is through Google, right? Like if you Compass agent, you should use your Compass email and try to do everything within like one workflow, right? Like Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Drive, Gmail, right? You're a Gmail user. And on the left side of the calendar, you'll see like these little rectangle buttons where you can uncheck the calendars, right? So I have 5 different calendars. Doesn't mean I need to look at them all the time, right? Like when I want to look at my family calendar, I click it back on, right? And then for the rest of the day when I'm at work, I don't really need to see it. I click it off, right? So like these are things that I suggest everyone.
Just letting you know what's sliding by.
Yeah. Right. So for all of you that are having like tech issues with the calendar, like the calendar works for the majority of people. I don't know why it wouldn't sync to Google. You hit add, you might need to refresh your screen, but it works.
The agent experience people that are in your offices, they're great because we actually had a session on managing calendars and emails and all of that great stuff in our office.
So if you have technology questions, right, the best people to ask is your AEMs, right? Like we can help you with platform access. We built this system, it works, but I'd be lying to you to say if our team had the time to sit there and go through all the tech support, right? Like we could record a video, but it's going to be the same video as I did. Click the link, click add calendar, put in your name, your email, and hit add calendar, click the calendar you want, hit add. Like that's to the extent of what we're going to tell you. Anything beyond that, maybe some personal issues with your computer, your email, the way that you have your Gmail and Apple synced, like that, I'm not 100% sure of. So sometimes after you add a calendar, to Allison's point, you just need to refresh the screen, right? But I don't want us to spend all of our valuable time talking about calendars because there's a small segment of you that are having this issue, and I want to be mindful of everyone else. So does anyone else have questions? Just email our team, and like this is a good opportunity to know, like if there's actual like tech issues, go to your AEM. They're there to support you through that, 100%. Now, does anyone else have questions about events, programming, picking tracks, being focused, getting the most out of coaching? Anybody? Anne?
I need help finding a Chicago agent, and I prefer working with somebody who signed up with Chirag. So I was trying to find it on the platform, and it's changed a little bit. We used to have a community. I don't know, did it change the website?
No, it's still there. We encourage everyone to go in and create a profile and everything else. And look, if you're a Chicago agent, Ann.Alvarez, you should reach out to her. And the first thing, it's the first thing she's going to ask you, how long have you been in Chirag's coaching? Right? That's generally what most people do. So look, dive in. Like this is just an easy opportunity. Most of the people, because our business and the way that we do our coaching is so client and experience and luxury client experience driven, they generally want to refer within this community. Anyone else have any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, hallucinations, fears, doubts, worries, anxiousness? It's your chance. All right, so Autumn in Tampa. I'll be visiting.
Hi.
Hello.
You mentioned on yesterday's call, and I wanted to reconfirm your recommendation of doing no more than 2 tracks and 1 group, correct?
And if your idea of doing the 2 tracks is the buyer and seller, to me, that is a hard no. Do not do that. You can do prospecting and one other because they're 2 very different things. Have you ever noticed that people that are listing agents have like, I'm only a listing agent, have a very specific set of skills. You give them a buyer, they're like, I could do this, and it's vice versa. How would I decide which track to start with? Now we're getting into the good questions. Not that the other ones were bad or anything, but this is what everyone really wants to know. And I always find when one person asks a question, then it opens up the conversation. It's like selling a new construction development. No one wants to buy the first house, right? So I would generally look at where your business is coming from now, right? So if I'm mostly working with buyers, I would not take the seller track, like, I want to learn how to be a listing agent. No, you want to get great at what's in front of you, right? I like the word FSBO because it stands for fastest source of business opportunity. The fastest source of business opportunity is one, what you're already doing and getting the most out of it. And two, your database of people that you know, right? And then so the next one is can we start one then for the yeah, look, at the end of 12 weeks, right? I'm going to do like one of these, what I call surprise and delight sessions. And the session really is going to be like, how do I know if I'm ready to move on to the next track? Right. And a lot of this will have to do with how many of those skills have you learned, right? In the practice. Like you can move on to the track, but remember, like part of getting the most out of coaching is going deep, right? So if you came here for an appetizer sampler, then do one different track and rotate them through, right? Some people might do the buyer track one quarter, the seller track the next one, and then figure out where they really want to go deep the rest of the year, right? But doing the buyer and seller and prospecting all at once, you're not going to get anything done.
So prospecting and seller or prospecting and buyer together would be okay.
Excuse me. Yep.
Bless you.
Thank you. Think about it like a major and a minor. But the two of them have not, they're not similar, right? Prospecting is reaching out to people. The other one's like actually working on like one side of your business.
And then at the end of the 12 weeks, the track repeats, or it's like a little different?
No. Okay, I'm really glad that you said that. Why would we want to change something that works, right? So it's like you go to the Ritz-Carlton, you have an amazing experience, and when you come back again, they're gonna like double down on that experience because they know it works, right? And I just want to say this to what you're saying. It's a lot of people think, well, I went through this. Why am I going to hear it again? Because it's impossible to learn something that's as complex as this business in 6 hours over the course of 12 weeks. There's 6 months, again, of one skill a week, right? And so we blend all this stuff into a high level 12-week like boot camp, essentially. But like Martha will tell you, she's going on her 4th year. They're still going through this stuff. And every year they just keep getting better and better and better, right? So beyond your happiness, the one thing I want is I want all of us to be confident, right? There's no better feeling when a client's talking to you and they like ask you something that used to be challenging or you know is going to challenge other people and you have the answer like that, right? I'm looking for a good deal in the market. I'm like, great. Like I have a great script for that, right? And then other people are like, okay, like, you know, we can take you out and we can do the best that we can to find you a good deal. And like a good deal is just getting the home today. And, you know, interest rates are like, we can't tell people interest rates are at historic lows and they're going to go up. We've been lying to people about that for years, right? Can't control what the world events, local economies, the stock market, cryptocurrency, the Fed, like, come on.
Okay. Okay.
We really want to position you as experts in your field and the best at what you do. Like choosing somebody to build a relationship with to buy or sell a home is a big, big deal. These people let you in to their homes, their hearts, their families. You're their therapist. They invite you to their like family gatherings, right? Who here's ever been invited to somebody's like family event, right? A lot of us. That is a precious relationship and a huge amount of trust. So the question I ask all of you is, if you look in the mirror, why wouldn't you just want to get better and better and better at that one thing? Because if you do that, they're going to tell everybody. So remember Shrag saying client experience is the best form of prospecting. What's the difference between the 30-minute, 1-hour accountability groups? Just a different group structure, right? Like some people might have sharing wins or sharing challenges. Each one of them run their group independently, right? Some people just like 30 minutes in and out, right? Here's what we are. Here's how we covered. Here's a couple role plays. You'd be amazed when you hear other people role play. You're like, oh my God, this is what I sound like. I need to practice, right? But the people that do it have courage. And the people that do it for group feedback are the smartest because they're going to get to learn from everybody else. Does anyone else have any questions? Comments, thoughts, concerns?
Good.
All right.
Good afternoon, Shrug. I have just one question. So to go through the sessions and just pick the ones that you want to take. There's not just, I don't have to do the whole calendar thing. I could just pick the ones that I want, right?
I would pick one track. Don't go.
Right. One like track, like the buyer's track.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna be like, I'm gonna choose this one this
Oh,
Monday.
no.
Okay, good. Just making
No.
sure we want to make sure that this is all kosher for you.
No, I want to pick all of the like buyer's track. That's the easiest way to like do it, right? To like just pick
Yeah.
them. Okay.
And by the way, I think a buyer track is going to be one of the most popular tracks since it's something that's challenging, new, and like asking somebody to sign a piece of paper where they're guaranteeing you 15, 20, 30, $40,000, kind of a big deal in a 1-hour meeting, right? Just think about this. Think about your decision-making matrix for signing up for this coaching program. Think about all the thoughts. Some people just hit the button, but other people like, I need to think about this, I don't know how I feel. And you're making anywhere from a $3,500 to a $5,500 commitment. And for some people, they signed up their whole team of dozens and dozens of people. So it's a bigger commitment, right? But if you're thinking about that for something that happens, and there's essentially 3 sessions, there's 144 plus sessions throughout the year in live events. Imagine how somebody feels in an hour or 2 hours having to decide to spend 15 to 30 grand with one person. Sam, can you unmute yourself and just explain that a little?
Yeah, so in the tracks, are they interactive afterwards? Like, do we ask questions? Is it involved, or is that just kind of what the accountability groups are for? Like, are the tracks just pretty much a learn and listen?
It is learn and listen, but as time has gone on, and I've been doing this over and over and over again, to go through 30 minutes of slides is very challenging for me, right? So like we get through it, we're short, we're direct, short meaning like clear, concise, and to the point, right? So generally speaking, there always is time, right? And sometimes like I'm human like everyone else, and I just can't be here, I'm with my family. So we record the sessions and David facilitates them, and it's like a 15-minute learn and listen, and then we have group dialogue, right? So depending on the topics, right? But like the accountability group is really where those amazing discussions happen, where you hear from your peers, and some people are just got here, other people have been here 4 years, right? So people help each other out, and that share a scenario button that we'll have in our AI is a great way to share like what you're dealing with, right? And when we send our surveys of like, how can we support you better, right? Like we listen to what you say, and that influences not only the content we create, but the way that we deliver the content. Right? The content's the content, but there are different ways to deliver it. There are different ways to take the same session and do it in a group format, do it in a listen and learn format, do it in a, I'm going to highlight an agent that did each part of this so that people really learn how they used it, right? There's a lot of different ways to teach.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Caroline, so I can only do prospecting and accountability group first, so we cannot. No, you can do, Caroline, you can do anything you want, right? So if you want to do more than one group, commit to the prospecting in either the buyer or the seller session, right? If you want to attend all of the sessions, I can't stop you. I can't. I can give you my caveat emptor buyer beware and hope you don't do that. But look, you signed up for the program, you have access to everything that's in it. All right, I see hands. Lisa, Babs, and then Andrea.
I just have a comment today, and all the newbies. You're gonna need to know how to prospect, and the biggest gift you can give yourself is go hunt, learn how to hunt well for good quality clients that you're going to be using in that buyer tract or that seller tract. If give yourself the gift of both, especially for you newbies, you have nothing but time. They're well timed, they're on a schedule, bank them into your schedule, jump into the deep end, and you'll have more skill 1 year from today than most of your colleagues. And that will be the difference between the, what is it, the 13% who succeed and the 87% who don't. So be in the 13%. That's all I have to say. Have a great weekend, all.
Thank you.
We're here to bring winners. Babs. I love that name. Wait, we can't hear you.
Hey, Chirag, while Babs is getting her audio together, I'll just jump in and ask. I'm currently not able to access the community, and I sent an email But if my email isn't addressed before Monday, will I still be able to attend the session? Is there like an ID or password that I need to hop on the Zoom?
Yeah, just
All right, this is
email.
Laura. Can I jump in here? Who's that's speaking?
Lisa.
Maze? Maze, yes. Lisa, we will take care of you. All these requests. Give us some time. There's a whole bunch of requests coming in right now. We will make sure they are all handled before Monday.
Awesome. Thank you.
See that? She was like, wait, who are you? I need to fix this. Thank you, Laura. But look, like it's in anything, it's not like our program is like a, you know, definitive, like one button thing. It's a pretty complex thing in the sense there's a lot of stuff available. So that's why we did onboarding. That's why we did business planning, right? We'll probably do a second onboarding session because I think like in a week, there are going to be a whole bunch of people have a whole new set of questions. We really want this to be a good experience for you. Anybody else? Going once, going twice.
One more question.
There
Where's
we go.
the plan again?
Excuse me?
Where is the business plan?
Go to sessions and events and go to past events and click the business planning one and just scroll down. Under the recording are always the resources.
I'm locked out of it.
I think they need to update the document. Laura, are you still here? I think it just
Hey,
needs.
I'm here. I'm fixing it right now, guys.
Oh, okay. It needs to just be a main copy doc. So we're good. So thank you. And I appreciate everyone's patience. I appreciate everyone's commitment. And look, like out of the 175 of you that joined us today, there's still 130 people here. So look, I always say the time is your greatest resource, and it means the world to me and our entire team that you chose to invest it with us. And we are committed to beyond anything that any human could fathom in their brain to making this the best year of your life. So with love in my heart, I love you all. Thank you so much. And excited to get started on Monday. So for those of you who are new, Monday is what I will say, out of all the things I've ever created in my life, this is the most impactful one. And from the first day you use it, you'll see an impact in your business. It will change your client's entire experience and yours too. So ready, set, go. Bye, everybody.